Preparing for combat, the military says it's sending conscripts to offshore islands for training to defend Taiwan. Mixed messages. North Korea fires another missile just days after Kim Jong-un's sister said her country was open to ending war on the peninsula. Power crunch. Taiwan's energy-hungry businesses in China are getting burnt by electricity rationing. And learning the language, how Mandarin lessons are helping these students call Taiwan home. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Young people doing military service in Taiwan will now be assigned to field units across the country and on offshore islands. The move is intended to help recruits be better prepared for combat situations. The Defence Minister has also spoken of a need for accurate long-range weapons to deter an attack from China. William Yen has our first report.
New recruits report for duty and listen to their commanders brief them on their training objectives. As of this month, young people doing their compulsory military service have been assigned to field units after completing basic training. This is to familiarize them with field operations to make them combat ready. All eligible males in Taiwan undergo 4 months of military service. This now includes 5 weeks of boot camp followed by 11 weeks of field unit experience. The conscripts are assigned to units by lottery. For some of them, this means they will be sent to join units on the offshore frontline islands of Kinmen or Matsu, which lie just off China's southeastern coast.
跟部队做一个实务的一个经历嘛，最起码比训完以后，他就回家会获得某一方面注意的。那连同外岛也一样。
Around 35,000 recruits a year will be assigned around the country in this way. The Defense Ministry says this will help the recruits understand the operation of troops on the front lines and better prepare them for combat. In the event of a war, as many as 215,000 reservists in Taiwan can be mobilized within 24 hours, and another 78,000 placed on standby. Reservists who were discharged from the military in the past 8 years will be the first to be called up. Meanwhile, Cho also highlighted the need for long-range accurate weapons in response to recent Chinese warplane incursions and naval vessels navigating close to Taiwan. Cho told the legislature that Taiwan needs to be able to let China know it can defend itself against attacks. Klein Wang and William Yen for TaiwanPlus.
North Korea has fired a suspected ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan. Tokyo has gone on alert after the projectile landed in waters between Japan and the Korean peninsula. The launch comes days after the North rejected South Korean President Moon Jae-in's call for an end-of-war declaration to achieve denuclearization. It also took place shortly before North Korea's ambassador gave a combative address to the United Nations in New York.
조선반도에서 새로운 전쟁 발발 가능성이 억제되고 있는 것은 결코 미국이 우리에게 자비를 베풀어서가 아닙니다. 그것은 우리 국가가 적대 세력의 군사적 침공 기도를 제압할 수 있는 비듬직한 억제력을 키우고 있기 때문입니다.
To learn more, our reporter Reinho Kilpatrick spoke to NK News analyst James Fretwell. He started by asking what is noteworthy about this launch.
North Korea is all about timing. At the moment, the UN General Assembly is ongoing. North Korea's ambassador to the United Nations gave a speech today as well. North Korea is also holding, we believe, a session of their Supreme People's Assembly. The wider context is also interesting because North Korea has tested a few missiles in September, and these have followed US-South Korea joint military exercises in August. Now, before these exercises, North and South Korea agreed to resume inter-Korean hotlines. So there was expectations that perhaps relations would improve, that we'd see more inter-Korean talks. This didn't happen.
So how worried should we be at this point about the threat of further escalation?
It was a short-range ballistic missile. Well, we think it's a ballistic missile. Those two details are important because ballistic missiles violate UN Security Council resolutions. Unlike cruise missiles, perhaps they might not technically violate these resolutions. North Korea tested cruise missiles in September as well. The short-range aspect is also important because it tends to be the longer-range missiles, especially the intercontinental ballistic missiles, that really attract the attention of not only the US, but also of China and Russia, who are also permanent members of the UN Security Council. So it seems at the moment that North Korea is conducting tests of new missiles, which obviously present new challenges to missile defense in the region. And that is obviously of big concern. However, it does seem to be holding back from the really big missile launches at the moment.
China is in the grip of a power crunch as a shortage of coal supplies, toughening emission standards and strong demand from manufacturers strain the grid. And as Ken Ning reports, Taiwanese companies that rely on Chinese suppliers could be affected too.
A factory owner has no alternative but to tell his employees to go home after the power was cut. China is putting in place strict controls on energy consumption. Measures were enacted in provinces including Guangdong, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang. Many of these factories are owned by Taiwanese companies, and they've been caught up in the restrictions.
那所以呢，对于台湾的这个 PCB 产业呢，当然会造成一些冲击。所以呢，对于这个中下游的电子产品呢，那当然也会造成连带的一些冲击。
Jiangsu is a base camp for Taiwanese companies, with many factories located in Kunshan. AU Optronics said it would abide by local energy policies, while Petrol Corporation said its current electricity usage is normal and is working to ensure production is not affected. Wistron Corporation and Compal Electronics said they are operating normally, while Microstar International and Getech Technology Corporation have stopped production until September 30th. On September 27th, the Taiwan Stock Exchange closed up by 53 points at 70,313.77, with investors seemingly unfazed by the restrictions.
但是如果说它持续为了维稳，不让它这个电价上扬的话，但是因为它成本上扬，那所以说这种情况大概就会持续一段时间。政策还是这样子，这个朝令夕改的话，基本上台商还有其他的选择。
They will have to find ways to shift supply chains. Established companies may have to look at long-term solutions, such as relocating. Alex Chen and Ken Ning for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has secured access to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant by the end of the year to inspect plans to release wastewater into the Pacific Ocean. The planned release, starting in 2023, will be coordinated with the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, once radioactive elements are below legal limits. Taiwan wants the same access as the IAEA's investigations, also scheduled this year. Taiwan is considering lifting its ban on food imports from the Fukushima area, in place since the 2011 tsunami caused the meltdown at the plant. Today, 1 local case and 6 imported cases have been reported. With domestic infections going down, the government is easing restrictions on eating out and for some entertainment venues. Sandy Chi has more.
Strict COVID-19 prevention measures were put in place in May following Taiwan's largest outbreak of the virus. The government says some of these restrictions may now be eased. For restaurants in Taipei, dividers are no longer required for family and friends sharing a table. They also do not need to sit at least 1.5 meters apart. The rules still apply when different groups share a table. Restrictions at movie theaters, sports venues, and train stations will be eased from this week.
那当然，在维持要排队时，及室内外要适当的社交距离。那可以现场售票，不受预约制。
From October 5th, entertainment venues, including internet cafes, karaoke outlets, and board game cafes, may reopen. Different restrictions will be in place at different types of venues. Nightclubs and bars remain barred from reopening. Sandy Chi and Damon Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Southeast Asian language courses are running for the third consecutive year in Taiwan's primary schools. Taoyuan has seen the highest uptake, with more than 2,000 elementary students from immigrant families choosing to learn the native language of their foreign-born parent. Statistics show there are 18,000 elementary and junior high school students in Taoyuan with a foreign parent, which is close to 1 in 10 students in Taoyuan. Now, did you know that 2.4% of Taiwan's population are immigrants? That includes 230,000 foreign spouses and their children. William Yen met 2 children who are getting a helping hand to reach their full potential.
大家好，我是叶佳明，我从越南来。
大家好，我是李尚，我今年14岁了。 我刚来台湾3年多。
Ye Jiaming and Liu Yitang didn't grow up speaking Mandarin. Ye was born in Vietnam and left Ho Chi Minh City for Taiwan with his family at the age of 8. Liu was born in Taiwan but moved to Vietnam at the age of 2. He relocated back to Taiwan when he was 11 years old. The boys are now studying at Mingdao Elementary School in Taipei.
课就是坐在那里就听不懂，就感觉很无聊，就这样子。因为看不懂国字，都是国字。
But schools in Taiwan are providing extra language classes to help children learn Mandarin.
放在车上准备运走。
前面有3名妇人。
前面有3名妇人。
Although, like all students, it's not always easy to focus.
通好也，
哎，很棒，继续。
我刚来的时候很多东西都不懂，我也刚来的时候我不懂他们在讲什么，我有点害羞。在这里越多的时候，我发现这里人都很好。
The young students might not be fluent in the Chinese language yet, but they excel in other subjects.
因为我对画画很有兴趣，又来我很会画画。
上个单元我们做 logo 的设计，就是设计一个防灾的 logo 防灾标志。那它还蛮能抓到重点，就是它用色的大概。
我们拍摄的一部庆祝母亲节的影片，然后这部影片是小朋友自己演戏、自己演出。那宜昌担任摄影，他除了担任摄影之外，他也参与演出。 而且事后的剪辑，影片剪辑完全都是他自己剪辑出来的。
The National Immigration Agency says its 7th Dream Building program aims to ensure students like Ye and Liu reach their full potential in Taiwan. Patrick Chen and William Yen for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up after the break, as coalition talks begin in Germany, we ask what the election results mean for the country's approach to Asia.
最有人情味的地方。
对。
Welcome back to TaiwanPlus News. A reminder of our top story. Young people doing compulsory military service in Taiwan will now be assigned to field units on offshore islands and across Taiwan proper. The move is intended to better prepare recruits for combat situations. Coalition talks are underway in Berlin as the post-Merkel era begins. Results indicate Olaf Scholz of the Social Democratic Party is most likely to become Chancellor, with an increased role for the China-skeptic Green Party. But what do the results mean for Germany's direction on Asia? Our reporter, James Chater, spoke to Didi Kirsten Tatlow at the German Council of Foreign Relations. He began by asking whether domestic factors might limit a sudden shift in Berlin's approach to Asia.
The thing all along here, of course, is through 16 years of Angela Merkel and also her predecessors, Schröder, Kohl, has been this belief in the policy of Wandel durch Handel, that you change China through connecting to it, through doing business with it. And there are, scores of high-level academic, all over the place kinds of connections between Germany and China now. Also shifting, it's been shifting since approximately 2017 or 18, slowly and now a little bit more quickly. And some major German business associations, such as the BDI, but also the VDMA, which is the Mittelstand, the small and medium-sized business association, have grown far more critical and concerned about China. And so there are these pressures to change domestically. They're coming from business, but at the same time, and this has to be emphasized, Germany is a conservative country. It's slow to change. It fears change. I think we need to watch probably for a while to see any real changes coming in.
And what would some of the central direction or the shift in direction be from the surge of the Green Party in this election? It does seem like the younger voters have really gravitated towards this party during this election. Do you think that indicates a generational shift in the way Germans are viewing foreign policy?
This is a really fascinating phenomenon. So the Greens and the FDP, the Free Democrats here, have seen real surge in support, particularly among young people. So the under 30s, it's really been quite remarkable. And I think it shows a generational shift. The CDU is polling its worst ever in history. It's a huge problem, I think, now for Angela Merkel, frankly, and for her legacy, that she's, in a sense, that she's left the party in a bit of a mess. And I think there will be a lot of trouble coming up over that. To what extent there will be pressure, upward pressure, to change foreign policy, particularly on the Taiwan issue, I think we should temper our expectations to a certain extent. But I think that overall, the trend broadly in Germany, as well as elsewhere, is toward a kind of reshaping of, views toward Taiwan. The European Parliament is trying to would like to upgrade relations. We've had Lithuania, which is directly upgrading relations. Germany hasn't publicly supported that yet, but then one wouldn't expect that during a Merkel government.
The British Army is being put on standby to help deliver fuel to the country's gas stations. A government warning over a shortage of truck drivers sparked panic buying, leaving many pumps dry. The UK is estimated to be short of more than 100,000 drivers, causing problems for a range of industries, including food suppliers and supermarkets. R&B singer R. Kelly has been convicted of leading a decades-long sex trafficking scheme and using his fame to lure victims. A jury in New York found Kelly guilty of systematically recruiting women and teenagers for sex and grooming and brutally abusing them. He will be sentenced next year. He faces a minimum of 10 years in prison. A lawyer representing several of R. Kelly's victims said he was a dangerous predator.
His scheme to lure his victims to him, isolate them, intimidate them, control them, indoctrinate them, punish them, shame them, and humiliate them. All of which made Mr. Kelly more powerful and more dangerous than many other sexual predators who operate without a network of financial and businesses to support and enable them.
Now, it's a skill that has been passed down generations. For Hakka people, pickling became an essential part of life as they struggled against scarcity of food in hard times. We now travel across the island from the southern city of Kaohsiung right up north to Hsinchu to meet the Hakka farmers who have made pickling an art. An Australian icon is disappearing from the country. Conservation groups warn that the koala could soon become endangered. The Australian Koala Foundation says the country has lost about 1/3 of its population in the past 3 years. They are urging the government to implement a protection law for the animals and their habitat. The decline is largely due to deforestation and bushfires, which have destroyed large swathes of forest over the past few years. Thanks for watching TaiwanPlus. We leave with some images of the Buenos Aires World Tango Championships. Stay safe and see you next time.